Welcome back, and in this tutorial we're going to be talking about single crochet. So what we're working with here is the chain that we'd done in the first tutorial. We had chained 10 and I added one because when you're going to do a single crochet you want one more chain than you ultimately want single crochet stitches. And the reason for that is that we're going to skip that first chain. It kind of gets sucked into the side of the work, so it's important to have an extra one so that you don't have a lopsided piece. So we have 11 chains here. So I'm holding my yarn taut in my left hand and I'm holding my needle in my right hand. I'm going to skip my first chain and I'm going to put my needle into the second chain from the hook. Now I put it through the top loop. Some people will put it through both the top loop and the bar that runs through the back. There's three pieces to each of these V's. There's a V in the front and there's this bar that runs through the back. If you want, you can put it through both. Some people do, and I'll show you what that looks like. So if you put it through both, there's two little strings here on that second loop. I personally don't like to do that, but it really doesn't make a difference. Do whatever you wish. It depends who's teaching you, really. So at this point I have two loops on my needle. I'm going to grab the yarn with my needle. That's called a yarn over. And then I'm going to pull it through just the one loop. Okay, I still have two loops on my needle. Now I'm going to yarn over, pull it through both loops. And that's your first single crochet. Now I'm going to go right into the very next chain and I'm going to grab the yarn, pull it through the loop, yarn over, pull it through both loops. Okay, let's do that again. We're going to do that for every chain that's left here. So I'm going to wind up with 10 single crochets. So we're going to go into the next chain. We're going to grab the yarn, pull it through, two loops on my needle. Yarn over, pull it through both loops. Again, into the next chain. Yarn over, pull it through. I have two loops on my needle. Yarn over, pull it through both loops. Again, into the next chain, yarn over, pull it through that loop. Two loops still on my needle, yarn over, pull it through both loops. And again, into the next chain, yarn over, two loops on my hook. Yarn over, pull it through, pull it through both loops, but try to make sure you don't separate your yarn. Go into the next chain, yarn over, pull it through. Two loops on the hook, yarn over, pull it through both loops. Into the next hook, chain rather, yarn over, two loops on the hook, yarn over, pull it through both loops. Okay, now we're up to the last chain. Push your needle into the last chain, yarn over, two loops on your hook, yarn over, pull it through both loops. Now, if you're going to continue to single crochet all the way up this piece, then what you're going to need to do, remember how we had one extra chain than we had single crochets? You need a turning chain now, so you're going to chain one. That chain one is going to be your extra chain. That's called a turning chain. So you can turn your work, and then you do the same thing you did before. You're going to start single crocheting by putting your hook into the single crochet one away from your needle. So you're going to skip this one and go into this one. Okay, when you do this, make sure there's now two stitches above your needle. You want that whole V on your needle. Okay, and this is going to get challenging. I don't know if you can see this, but there's a cat right there who's eagerly looking for this yarn. So I'll try to do this quickly for the sake of the tutorial. So we're now through the first, the second single crochet from the hook. I'm going to grab the yarn with a yarn over, pull it through. I now have two loops on my hook. I'm going to yarn over and I'm going to pull it through both loops, and I'm going to continue that way through the piece. So I'm going to go into the next single crochet, make sure the V is on top of my needle. Yarn over, two loops on my hook, Dakota, honey, I need you to move. You're standing on my yarn. Can you get off my yarn? You might have to use your imagination for the rest of this line, but we're going to yarn over and pull through both loops, and that's how you would finish this single crochet. Just remember to use your turning chain at the end of each row. Happy crocheting!